Howdy, everybody, and welcome back to Stranded Deep in Conversation, where we conversate like true gamers over the introspective of what reality really is. So you look deeper into it, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? You're kind of just a speck in the dust of the universe. But either way, hopefully you spend your speck's worth of life here, listening to me talk about how paranoid I am. And we'll get to that. As always, we get to that. First, quick channel updates. Apologies for no actual real videos this week except for Retro Bowl. I was going to, and then I slept through all my alarms. It's crazy. But it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, there is a video coming out. I pretty much have it ready. It's just a little bit more editing that I want to do to it to make it a little bit more spicy. But I'll probably have it. Probably is a strong word. Have it ready on Saturday. So be prepared for that. In the intermediate, you have this. Tomorrow I'll be streaming probably a little bit more Pokemon before I put it down for a little bit, just so I can do some other things on the channel, like other games, because it's literally just been Pokemon and Tabletop Sim for the last week or two. So we're gonna put it away, but then we're gonna put it right back up because I have a lot of things I want to do with the Pokemon stuff. Now I'm assuming I can just do like the endless double battle formats and stuff. I'm assuming. I'm very heavily assuming. I don't really know if it's a thing, but I'm imagining it's a thing. I haven't gone to check yet. But if I had to bet, that's what you can do in the new DLC. God, I hope so. I really hope they didn't just introduce double battles and then nothing else. See, now, again, sort of include the topic, I'm now paranoid that it is not a thing. And I just realized those have, like, extra mechanics, so I probably can't even use all of my Minior in the same battle it does, because they're very particular about using duplicate Pokemon. So that might have just completely screwed the entire idea of what my team was going to be for that. But maybe they'll make an exception, because it's silly and funny. God, I hope so. Either way, hello everybody. Welcome. I'm now not going to be able to stop thinking about this, and this clues right in to this week in retail. Not just the topic, but this week in retail alone. I am so sorry. That came out of left field, didn't it? But yeah, this week in retail, I didn't write like fucking anything down. I know. I've been trying to get better at that. Clearly, this week I was not trying to get better at that. Hopefully, this next week I will get better at that. But for now, I have one thing though, and that is yesterday. Because, of course, I always seem to find something to talk about the last day I possibly have. And it's a bit of a doozy, and it definitely relates to the topic. And it's actually not what started me thinking about the topic, but something that definitely was, like, reinforcing, like, what the fuck is going on with my brain. And I didn't actually write the story down, so I'll have to explain it through my own brain. But I wrote, how the fuck do people ask to change schedules without feeling so fucking guilty? And I still stand firm with that statement, because essentially in the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks from now, my sisters are going to visit Brooklyn for a little bit. They thought it would be fun, and they wanted me to tag along. However, I'm already on that day for work, because my manager is awesome and posts schedules like 3 weeks ahead, so it's very easy to know when you're working. So you can figure out plans around when you work. Which is gamer shit. But I work that day, and they're like, can you try to reason with them to see if you can have off that day, or if you can swap truck days and stuff? Because Friday right now is when we get all our like stuff in for our store. And as a result, literally everybody is in on that truck day. So it's like, shit, that's kind of a problem now, isn't it? Because who's going to swap with me? No one. Literally no one can swap with me. So the only way I figured it out in my head was like, okay, if I ask this coworker who's working, because I'm off next Friday, so I'm like, and someone else is working my night shift. Normally it's just me who closes at night for the truck, me and one other guy who's not a shift, so he can't close on his own. Usually it's just me and him, but the different person's closing on next week. So I'm like, okay, what if like they asked them to close the week after that too? What if I then take that day so that way it makes sense, and then they just don't come in the morning? Very fucking confusing. And it ultimately actually meant they were losing hours because of that. So I'm like, okay, we don't want to do that. So how about you take this day? But it's like, you know what? This is too confusing. How's about we just swap on Friday? So you work the night, I work the morning, and then I just see if everyone is okay with me just not showing up in the morning. Eh? Like, I understand there's other, like, I've been in situations before where I need to change schedules. Nothing like this, because this is a fucking fucked up situation. It's literally me saying, hey, can you take this day, and then I'm just not going to show up. Like, that's not very cool. I'm not very okay with doing that, honestly. But I told my sisters I would ask, and I asked, and holy hell, the entire time I was feeling so bad, like, horrible. Because this person that I'm asking gets very confused very easily. And so trying to explain this to them was a nightmare. Trying to reason it was also a nightmare. It's still kind of a nightmare for me because I still don't think it's a smart idea, honestly. If I guess I have to go ask my manager today when I come in to see if this is an okay plan, which it probably won't be. And honestly, that's kind of what I'm hoping for because I feel incredibly awful for even having to mention it. Because normally when people change schedules, right? It's, hey, can you come in an hour earlier? Hey, can you take this day? And then if they need a day, then like they'll ask and like, can we swap days? And it's easy. This is the most complicated form of changing schedules, which involves me just not showing up, which is a dick move. I've not done that before, and I really don't want to. So honestly, probably just gonna be like, hey, I told my sister that I'd ask, but can you just say no? And no offense, I want to go with them. It's just that I fucking, again, paranoid. I don't like the thoughts that are in my head of, oh, he's either gonna say no and it's cool, or he's gonna say yes, and then everyone's gonna start hating me. Like, oh, I can't believe he would make us a man down on truck day. How could he do this? And I feel terrible about it already. So it's just, there's so many thoughts looping in my head about this specific situation that's actually driving me insane. And also, I don't know how people do it normally. Because when people ask me if I could work a day for them, I have no problem with that. Because I like working for people. I like making people's lives as easy as possible. That's why I don't really have specific days off. I am fit into the schedule wherever I am needed, because that's how I like to do it. If they need me for a certain day or a certain time or a little bit earlier or a whole other day, whatever, it's what it is. I'm okay with that. But when I ask, even for like days off, like I'll ask like weeks ahead for like whether it's an appointment or like a thing I want to do, I'm still really nervous about that because I'm like, I'm gonna have to ruin the entire fucking schedule and then you're gonna have to work around me. I hate when people have to work around me. I like when I finally mesh into what's going on. I don't like when I'm like a stopper in the gears that is the system working. I don't like that. Not big fan I am, Sam. I'm a man, Sam. But yeah, not a fan. So, honestly, I don't know how it's going to turn out. Honestly, the thing is, I wouldn't mind asking more if I knew, because last time I went to Brooklyn was like in August. So I'd love to go back. It's just that I know, it's on a Friday, so one of my friends, one of the two friends I'd see that day, works again. I was there last August, and they worked that day too. Barely had time to see them, so I'd feel bad doing it again. And B, the last time we went, it was literally just me hanging out with one friend, and they all went to go hang out with their friends, which is what they're planning on doing again anyway, so I'm not even going to be able to do anything with anybody pretty much because it's a Friday. So one of them's probably at school, and one of them's at work. So I probably will have literally zero things to do when I get there, except just walk around and like go to places that I missed, which I can do on any day I want to anyway, because there's nothing stopping me from just saying, hey, I'm going to take a train to go there one day on my day off. So ultimately, I want to go, but it's not the end of the world, again. But I already asked, so now I'm in this fucking hole where I'm like, okay, well now I have to ask this person, because then I already told this person I'd ask that person, and now it's a whole fucking mess. And again, it's literally nothing. Like, if I were to take a step back and assess the situation, it's literally just saying, hey, can you work this day, and then can I just have that day off, because I need the day, I want it today, because I want to do something with it. That's all it is. But in my head, it is an entire fucking horror story of scheduling and rearranging and people hating me and shit. I'm not down for it. I'm not down bad for what's going on right now. But all this to say, I'm paranoid. And that leads us into this topic for today. My paranoid self. I am paranoid I don't fucking know the title. I wrote it as my paranoid self, so it'll probably be that, but I'm sure there's a bit more interesting of a top way to make that not title. I don't fucking know. I don't care. I'm horrible with titles. I'm horrible with everything when it comes to YouTube, honestly. But that's okay. I have fun doing it, so what are you going to do? Sue me? You can try. I will not stop you. Mainly because I don't know actually how to stop you. I guess lawyers, but those cost money, and I don't have that much money to hire a lawyer, so sue me if you want. I'm literally, there's no point, but you can do it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how, like, personal suing goes. I have no idea. But either way, this all started because something that happened, again, on Wednesday morning. So, Wednesday was really the driver for today, which is literally just yesterday. Yesterday was the driver for the topic today. I should really start, like, pre-recording some of these, but then I wouldn't have such interesting topics, like me being paranoid as fuck. But I'm always very last minute with these. But honestly, that's kind of how I am. A bag of empty chips, but with a lot of trash, and it just fell on the floor. So if you excuse me, I'm not gonna pick it up. But just excused it. I'm gonna pick it up. You'll understand later as we go into the stories for today. But this all started Wednesday morning, around 1 in the morning, might I add, too. So it wasn't like, oh, I woke up at like 8 o'clock before work. No, I didn't go to bed yet. I was playing Baldur's Gate with my friend. Because, again, he bought me Baldur's Gate. And I'm having a fucking blast playing that with him. I'm so bad at Baldur's Gate. It's honestly insane how horrible I am. The first day was pretty much just me getting a crab and getting arrested constantly. Trying to do things. I literally be like, I'm a rogue, so I'm like, I want to steal shit. And I try to steal shit. And they're like, hey, we saw you. I have a disguise self thing, so I can disguise myself. I stole something, disguised, undisguised, and then they still knew it was me. I probably did it wrong, but I'm flabbergasted at that. But I'm sure I just did it wrong. But either way, it's a very fun game. And we were playing it for a long time. We didn't play it last night, but we've been playing it like every other night pretty much since he got it for me. I think on Monday, I want to say. Sunday or Monday, he got it for me. I think Sunday, because I was at work, and I was like, you crazy bastard. And then, it might have been Saturday then, because I think, yeah, I don't fucking know. I don't remember the date. It's not important. All I know is that we played it Wednesday night, and it was whack. It was a good time. I can't remember a single fucking thing that happened. But we had a good time, I'm sure. What did we? We found the last NPC is like a demon that this other guy wants to kill, but then they aren't right now. I don't understand. Either way, we finished playing, and I was done. I was done for the night. I wasn't gonna play anything else. I was gonna go to bed. I was gonna try to watch something while I pass out. And I went, okay, this is good. I have some time before I have to wake up tomorrow, which I guess kind of explains why I didn't wake up to any of my alarms. But also, it didn't say I missed any alarms. I think someone turned off my alarm. Maybe I did in my fucking sleep. I have no idea. But either way, so I sat down on my couch recliner thing that some of you may know I have instead of a bed. I don't have a bed in this room because I like having the floor space for VR. Except now I have a fucking stupid coffee table, but the coffee table I just push it aside and bada bing bada boom, VR aplenty, and now I just have a cool little table that I can put shit on. I can play board games on instead of the floor, so there's no hair in my board games. It's awesome, honestly. 10 out of 10. Would recommend having a coffee table. If you don't have a bed in your room, get a couch and a coffee table. Treat it like a dentist's office. All right, that's all you want to do. But yeah, so I sat down on my recliner and I went to kick back. But my bag was in the way, as it normally is. I'm very bad at keeping things. I have specific spots in my room that I plan to put things, and then sometimes I just don't. So it was in front of the reclining bit, so I kicked it aside, and I kicked back, and it was good. I was getting a little cozy. I was putting something on, but as I was putting something on, I was like, man, I'm feeling a little peckish, because I didn't eat until when I came home. I probably had breakfast, and I don't think I ate before. I don't think I ate during work that Tuesday. Oh, I was off that Tuesday. Yeah, so I don't even think I ate anything. So I was just freaking, what? This is all, what? The whole day is a mess in my brain. We went out that day. We went out Tuesday. That's why I didn't stream for very long. Again, my brain is so horrible at retaining information. I think it's a problem. I'm not going to try to fix it, though. That's absurd. But either way, I was done playing. We played for a few hours. I think since like 9 or 10 o'clock. till like 1. So it was like a few hours. It wasn't that long, honestly. But if I don't remember. I was feeling hungry. All right, I was feeling hungry. Sue me. I was feeling hungry. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and make myself a little snack, which I just took some like cream cheese and smeared it on some bread, and I made a sandwich. We didn't have any bagels, so I just used white bread, which is honestly a crime, but it actually tasted really good. So suck it. I was like, sue me again. So I'm apparently very defensive today. I don't know why. But yeah, so I come back into the room with my cream cheese bread, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a nice old rootin' tootin' time. And I go to lay down again when I hear suddenly a faint but very obnoxious buzzing sound. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on. And I noticed this sound as I'm like trying to finagle with like YouTube. I'm gonna put on like a YouTube video just so I could pass out. I don't like falling asleep when I'm watching a TV show, because that's just kind of, it makes me forget. I feel like I'm gonna forget an episode, or I'm not gonna watch a good episode. Or so I get paranoid of that too. I guess I don't like watching like things I care about when I go to sleep. I'm not gonna remember what episode I passed out on, so then I just miss stuff, and then I miss important information maybe. So I'm browsing YouTube and I hear this buzzing sound. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that like my TV? Because I only started doing that from when I was able to realize at the time when I was messing with the TV. And I got really confused, and I was like, okay, maybe if I go to like turn to flip angle with like the controls and stuff. So I hit the home button on the remote, and almost immediately after, just trying to like finagle with that, the screen turned pink. Like, the entire screen just turned pink, and it wasn't like it was like a pure pink brick. It was like a pink overlay of whatever was going on underneath. So I was like, so that in my head confirmed my suspicion. I was like, oh shit, my TV's finally dying. It's an old TV. It's not like it's one of those like huge brick TVs like I used to have as a kid. That was an old TV. But this one, it's just been getting old. The LEDs in the screen have been bursting out of their gourd. It makes it very hard to really see what's happening. But I mean, it's a TV. It still works, so I ain't changing it until it doesn't work. But then in my head, I was like, oh no, it's not gonna work. I don't need to get a new TV soon. This is really unfortunate. And I was like, okay, well, I hope this buzzing stops when I go to fucking, I don't know, unplug it or fix it. And I try to unplug it and fix it. And normally with that, like the Fire Stick, because I have an Amazon Fire Stick. I don't have a smart TV. I have an Amazon Fire Stick plugged into it. And the wire for it sometimes gets a little loose and does that. So like, it doesn't turn pink. Normally it just turns off. I was like, okay, let me just unplug it and replug it back in. That didn't work. So I was like, okay, something's wrong here. So I go to the outlet to unplug that, because even after I unplug the Fire Stick, I still hear the buzzing, right? Because the buzzing is the problem, and I just assumed the TV would be the issue. So I'm like, okay, well, if I unplug the Fire Stick, maybe it's just the TV in general. So I go to the outlet to unplug said TV, and I can't really realize which plug it is, so I just turn off the outlet in general. And I turn off the outlet, it's still buzzing, and I'm like, what? What's happening? But as I like get down lower to the ground to find the thing, it fades. The buzzing fades in as I hit the ground, but it fades out as I'm going into like the closet where the outlet, where like the extension cord and the TV is and stuff. So I'm like, huh? I don't understand what's happening here. This is very confusing. So it's not the extension cord or anything in the closet that's the problem. So then I'm thinking, oh dear God. There must be something with like the wall, because I lean towards the wall where the outlet is, and I start hearing it a little bit more. My hearing sucks. I don't know if it sucks, but it's not the best. And so I'm hearing it kind of towards the wall now, and I'm like more towards the wall than the closet with all the technology. And I'm like, oh dear God, something's wrong with the wall. There's like a faulty wire in the wall or something. Something with the power is going weird, because power has always been a weird issue with this fucking house. But yeah, it's a strange thing. And so my brain was like, oh God, the power's starting to have a stroke. And I'm like, okay, but maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not. But I'm in my head, I'm confident there's a buzzing in the wall. So I'm like, okay, it's definitely a power thing. I don't know what else could be buzzing in the wall. I'm gonna Google it. And Google hard confirmed my suspicions because all I typed in was, why is there a buzzing light in my wall? Or like, why is there a light buzz in my wall? And every single answer was like, there's a power, like you're let's have a faulty wire, or like your power is not working correctly, or like there's like an oversurge in your power, and you gotta be careful because it could start an electrical fire, and you don't want an electrical fire now, do you? I'm like, no, I don't want an electrical fire in my house. So I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm like, oh my god. Because the moment I think like a bad thing can happen, that worst case scenario is all that lives in my brain. That's the only thing that lives on in my head. And I don't know what the fuck to do because it's an electrical problem inside the wall. And I'm like, that's not good. So I start freaking out and I'm trying to get like a better clue as to where this is so I can like tell them and my family in the morning, like, hey, something's going wrong with my wall. Then we need to fix it right away. I mean, I'll fucking help pay for it if we gotta, but I don't want this to be a bad thing because I know how bad things can get. Because I googled it. The baddest it can get is a fire, which isn't very cool. It's not very, as Chuck E. Cheese would say, bloggers! I can do that so much better. I half-assed it. I'm sorry. Bloggers! I can't do it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm all tense. I'm all tense thinking about the fire. Bloggers! Okay, I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm so sorry, folks at home. That wasn't supposed to happen. No, let's just brainwash them. There you go. You're nice and clean now. Brain nice and washed. But yeah, so I'm like starting to listen around my room, trying to find where the fuck this buzzing is coming from specifically. And I start feeling like it sounds a little bit better in one specific corner of my room. And it's the corner where this is, my computer, the computer setup, everything. The buzzing is coming from this general corner in the room. And I'm thinking, oh dear God. I overworked the wall, didn't I? I overworked the wires. But maybe me playing Baldur's Gate all into the night really fucked with the wires. It's not used to how running such like it's apparently a very graphically intense game. It doesn't feel that very graphically intense. It doesn't feel that intense, but the 137 gigabyte game, so it's gonna run very powerfully. So I was like, oh god, maybe me playing that for too long over the past few days has really been taking a toll on the wires in the wall. That's what I thought. That's literally what I thought, because I don't understand how things work. I'm only 21 goddamn years old, which is crazy to think about. I'm only 21. I feel like I'm 70 years old complaining about this. Like, it's a buzzing in my wall. What's going on? Is there a bug? There's a bug in my wall. Oh, someone say, oh no, it's why. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get lit on fire and die from my own house. Oh god. Oh shit. Oh fuck. But that's either way. I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. So I'm like, maybe it's not the wall. Maybe it's just one of the pieces of my computer, you know? So I duck down and try to hear more by like the outlet, by like the monitors and stuff. And I lean in towards the outlet, and the wall doesn't sound as buzzy as just like the general desk area does. But either way, I'm still paranoid, so I unplugged the thing. And I forgot to plug it in until when I went to go record this. So very stupid of me. But I unplugged it, and again, it was still buzzing. So I'm like, okay, it's not the technology, it's definitely the wall. Right? I get a better read on the sound. And let's just say it was lower than I'd imagined. It wasn't really where I'd imagine an electrical problem to be. It sounded more like it was coming more towards the floor than it was the wall, you know? Like, the wall didn't, like, when I leaned into the wall, it wasn't even as loud as if it was when I was leaned back away, more towards, like, the center-ish of the room, or of that corner of the room. And as I start to listen in at the floor, because I'm like, fuck it, maybe there's wires underneath the floor, like, powering this house. I have no fucking clue. Clearly something is buzzing, and it's not the wall, it's gotta be the floor. I lean in, and I lean in more, and I hear it even more as I'm leaning in towards the floor, but I more so hear it in one ear than another. And that ear was not the one that was pressed more towards the floor, but pressed more towards my bag. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then the moment I realize it's in my bag instead of on the in the floor, my brain puts it all together, because I opened it and found this. For context, that is a tiny walkie-talkie. One of like it's not the world's smallest brand walkie-talkie, but it's a small walkie-talkie. I got it because I thought it was funny, and I was like, oh, yo, sister, yeah, 'cause I'm talking, I'm always like, oh yeah, like when we go to like the mall or something, we can have these so we know where we are, even though we have phones, we're not stupid. But it's like just childlike whimsy of a walkie-talkie really strikes into my brain. But somehow, when I like kicked my bag like aside from my chair, I somehow flicked it on like halfway, so it was constantly like vibrating and like buzzing instead of just being on. It was like trying to like turn on, or like the frequency was trying to like get level or more power or something. I don't really know how it works, but it got to the point where it literally could not stop buzzing because it was on. I flicked it on, and that's where it was coming from. It was not the wall. It was not the any electronic in my room. It was just that. It was in my bag. And had I like not overcomplicated it, I could have been like, okay, well this only happened after I kicked my bag over. Let me see what's in my bag. No, I fucking completely overblew it, and I was like freaking out. I cannot describe to you how much in detail how freaked out I was about it. I was unplugging shit from my wall, making sure that nothing could possibly start or fire. Like a fire, not more fire, just a fire in general. Like the circuit breakers in this room, so I'm very cautious about that. I'm like always, I unplugged a bunch of shit, and only for it to literally be in my bag. Which honestly though, I don't blame myself too much, because the moment I started worrying about this whole thing, my fucking TV just turned bright pink. Like I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I'm like, is it a TV? And I hit the home button, and I'm like trying to flick through that to see like what's going on here. Bam, pink. It just turned pink. I'm like, how the what? I was blown away that it had nothing to do with the fucking TV. I don't know how the TV just turned pink out of nowhere then. That still confuses me to right now, which I would say from today, but it's only been a day, so obviously it's going to be confusing. But it's going to confuse me for the rest of my fucking life, probably, because I'm like, how the hell did it turn on? How did that? Why did my TV go pink? Did the walkie-talkie frequency sound like pink mode and it's like fucking ape shit? I have no idea. I really don't know. But that all stemmed this conversation we're having today, which isn't going to be that much of a longer one because I don't have too many more instances of this. I have plenty, though. Don't get me wrong. I don't have any specifics, and I've talked about other specifics, like the stink bug incident, where I was like after like the whole ordeal with the stink bug. My friend was like, "What if like it was a female and it laid eggs in your hair?" Ha 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 ha. And so then I spent the next like half hour showering, but less showering and more just beating the shit out of my head and my hair, so that way there's no way any fucking stink bug eggs could possibly be alive. I definitely would have smushed every sack known to man. But there's so many instances of me being paranoid, and it's kind of just crazy, because I feel crazy every time, which I guess is fair. But honestly, though, this time in particular, I feel like it's pretty justified. Because I googled it, and I guess I did assume it was in the wall, but like everything lined up to make me believe what I was thinking. So everything I thought was fairly logical. Like, at least I thought. Like, I was like, okay, the TV, it must be the TV. TV turns pink. Okay, it's a TV. It's not the TV? Well, in that case, it must be the wall. Let me Google it real quick. Oh, yeah, buzzing in the wall means an electric problem could be happening. I put all the pieces together correctly for the wrong situation. It's like doing a math problem, and you accidentally add or divide wrong, so you wind up doing a completely different math problem, but you're still getting the right answer for that math problem you're doing in your head, in your world. But the first problem, you're nowhere even near it anymore. Like if you're doing 1 plus 1, you accidentally subtract, now you go on to 0, but then that's only one part of the equation, but now you have 0 instead of 2, and it fucks up everything. So that's what happened on Wednesday morning. And it's kind of insane how just panicky I took it, which is, I get it, because honestly, electric problems are not a very joking manner, especially, like, there's other things, like, sometimes there'll be little things I get a little bit paranoid about, but this one, I was like, okay, it's possibly an electric problem. That's not good. So I was freaking out about it, reasonably. But most situations, no matter how serious, I play in my head every possible way I could imagine it going. I'll imagine the bad way, the good way, the really bad way, the super bad way. It could literally be anything. Like, if I'm like buying something for someone, like if I'm like, I remember a specific situation where I was like out at Walmart and I found Uno No Mercy, which is a card game that one of my sisters have been wanting for a very, very long time. Like, we've been looking for it ever since they came here. And I found it while we were out. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to secretly get this for them. But every different scenario played in my head. First, I imagined, oh yeah, they're going to love it. They're going to be really happy. Like, oh, thank you so much. This is really nice. And then I started thinking, what if they already got the game? And then they're going to be like, oh, Harry, you idiot, I already got the game like a couple days ago because I was just here. Or like, they were there with me. So I was like, oh yeah, they actually just bought the game themselves. And now now you bought them a second one. It's like, oh, thanks for the extra one, I guess. That's kind of cool. So I imagined literally every possible situation that this could go in, from them being grateful that it was a thing that they wanted, that I got them, to them fucking being like, I did not need this, I did not want this right now, because they were kind of in a bit of a bad mood. So like, when we went in there, so it's like, okay, hopefully this like cheer them up. But also at the same time, I was like, what if it like uncheers them? Like, what if it does the opposite and makes them really sad or something? I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. What ultimately ended up happening, though, is they liked it. They really liked it. I'm not going to share every intimate detail about it, but they did enjoy said gift, and it was really nice. But, I mean, again, just the fact that literally, something as simple as, I'm going to buy this person a card game that they've been wanting. I blew it out of proportion in my head, and I thought of every little different way it could go wrong, or the way it could go good, or whatever. Then there's situations where I'm like, oh, I walk into a store and I'm shopping, and then someone else walks into a store, and I don't really like they're rubbing me the wrong way, like something about their demeanor, or like their posture, or whatever. It's like, they could have a gun in that pocket. Like, the way they had their hand in their pocket the entire time, they have a gun in their pocket. Even though I put my hand in my pocket a lot, like, my mom makes fun of me because she says I always look like I'm stealing shit when I'm going outside, because I always have my hands in my pockets, and with one sweater in particular, I kind of like wrap it around myself, so it's like I'm kind of like hiding what's going on in my front. Like, I'm like, oh, you can't see my pockets, you can't see if I'm sneaking away with something. So I always look like I'm always looking like that shady son of a bitch, but I don't mean to. And I don't really realize that when I'm like looking at people and they're like, oh, they have their hand in their pocket, they have something in there, they have a gun, they're gonna try to rob the place. Oh, they're low. How to get out of here? They're gonna rob the place. Movie theaters do that to me too much. But yeah, literally just the smallest of incidences will get me riled up. But movie theaters, I want to talk about movie theaters. Movie theaters, I cannot go to a movie theater and immerse myself in the movie unless my group of people that I go with are the only ones going to that movie, or maybe on like a better chance that there's a lot more people, or if I'm like closer to an exit. I always like being as close to the exit in the movie theater as possible. My sisters, when we go see movies, they like to sit in the far back, which I'm okay with the far back. It's not close to the exits, but it's the far back, so you can at least see if something's gonna happen. If they chose to sit in the front, I would say no. I would literally be like, can we go like a little bit further down, or a bit more towards the left, so we can be near this exit in case something happens. You know, I wouldn't tell them that. I'd just be like, can we go to like what about over here? And I just pointed to see that I was like more optimal for my situation. But I literally cannot get immersed into a movie unless there's not a lot, unless there's not a lot of people, unless we're the only people in there. Because on the back of my mind, whoever else is in there is going to be like, alright guys, good movie, huh? Time to die. And then they'll pull out a gun or a knife and they'll start murdering us. And it's not because I'm watching a horror movie either. It's just any movie. If I go to a movie theater, I freak the hell out. Like the last time we watched Saw, which is a horror movie, to be completely fair. But the new Saw that came out, which was not too long ago, like a couple months ago probably at this point. I have no idea. I'm bad at time. When did it come out? Was it October? Did it come out in October? Hold on. Saw 10 release. September? Fuck, dude. Okay, we watched it in like October. That was so long ago now. It's January. Okay, well, I'm not here to get into that whole fucking mind meld. But we went to see Saw, and there was one other person there, because we didn't see it right away. We watched it like a month after it came out. And there was one other person. One person. It was an older lady just sitting in the middle of the theater. She even made small talk with us. She was like, "Oh, hey, you coming to see the movie? I thought I was going to be the only one there. I hope you enjoy it." And she was just there. She was just there watching the movie, being a person. But I couldn't get too immersed into the movie. Every like 30 seconds, I had to go look down at the lady to make sure she wasn't looking back at us or like rustling something in her pocket. Because I'm like, what if it's gonna be a knife or something? Or she's gonna like pull out a gun? You know, I'm like I freak out with movie theaters. I can never just be in a movie theater. And she did nothing. She wasn't a threat at all. My brain was just like, there's no way this person can be trusted in this specific situation. If I saw her outside, I think though, in terms of people being outside, I'm perfectly chill with them. I'm okay with that. And I feel like just walking around outside is probably more dangerous than sitting in a movie theater because we both have a set goal we paid to do. When you're outside, you're not paying to go outside and step outside. So people can do whatever the fuck they want when they go out there. But with this, just one person, I couldn't stop looking at him. And we went to watch that fucking Night Swim movie, which was a horrible movie, by the way. It was a fun bad movie for me anyway. But we watched this movie, and there were two people in front of us. One of them was like recording it, but they were older guys, and they looked so sketchy. Like they always had their hands in their pockets. They were always like finagling with something in their pockets. And one guy started recording some of the movie, and it was like, okay, this is awkward. This is weird. And they were in front of us, luckily. So every time they moved, my eyes averted from the screen to them to be like, what are they doing now? What are they doing now? Everything okay? They're not going crazy, right? They're not going to start like every time. One time they got out to go to the bathroom, I thought for sure my life was over because they like got up, turned around, and like stared at everybody, and then turned around and just started walking towards the bathroom. I thought I was dead. I thought that was the end of my life. So. But they didn't. They just wanted to watch the movie and apparently record some of the movie. I don't really understand why. They didn't record the whole movie. They only record like the first like few minutes, and like every now and again they turn on their fucking phone. I don't understand it. I don't get it at all. But just movies in general freak me the fuck out. I'm not a fan. I like going to movie theater. Like I've gone to movies on my own before. I went to see the latest, not the latest. I guess the latest theater release Star Wars movies was like The Rise of Skywalker. I watched that alone in a movie theater, but I had to sit at the very end of the row, and I had to sit in the row that was closest to the exit because otherwise I would be terrified. I sat in the back right row. I said the back left row by the right seat, like the rightest seat. So that way, if something happened in front of me, I could literally just dash out and right into the door because the door was right at the very back of that movie theater. This one was a bit different. You had to like climb a bunch of steps to get higher and further back. Very very nice movie theater. But yeah, I was just freaking out about that. So I can't do movie theaters, and I think it does all stem from something. And that was because when I was a kid, I read or something, I think my siblings told me about, there's like a shooter at a Batman movie in theaters, and I was like, oh shoot, like that sucks. Like a lot of people got injured. I think many people died. Like, hold on, I could probably Google this. I should have probably had it up Google already. Batman movie shooter is one of the first things that pops up. So James Holmes, it was in Colorado. God damn. Yeah, because he killed people during... Oh shit, this is crazy. Was this the Batman guy? I have no idea. Because it says here he placed booby traps in his apartment? Which diffused one day later. Okay, at least they were diffused. So this guy was going insane. Okay, but where is the actual... Yeah, the Aurora Theater shooting. What movie was it? Because wasn't it Batman? It's really not. It refuses to say. One of them informed of homicide. Just fucking tell me what movie he was going to say. It's the new Batman movie, I guess. I'm gonna assume he was decorated with Batman paraphernalia. He was gonna watch Batman. I don't fucking know. This is a horrible Wikipedia. I'm sure if I read it less sporadically, but yeah. So there was a guy who went to a movie theater and shot up a scene of a viewing of the Batman movie, and it fucking terrified me to hear that. One, because that happened, but the other thing is because right before that, like a couple days before that happened, because it was like the movie just came out, I went to see it with my older brother and my aunt. We went to a movie theater and just sat there and saw the movie. like a few days before that happened. And it was on May 22nd, 2012. So I was like 9 at the time. I was 9. I was just about to turn 10. I was 9. And ever since then, I've thought that at any point, some guy can just get up in a movie theater and say, "Hasta la vista, baby," and blast us all out of the sky. I've been terrified of it since then. And it wasn't even the same theater. They didn't tell me what theater it was. They didn't tell me what state it was. They just said someone shot up a movie theater and they were watching Batman. And I was like, oh shit, I just watched Batman with my family. We could have died. Because my brain went to not thinking it was some other place in some other city, in some other state. I thought, oh dear God, they shot up the theater that was right there. Which they definitely didn't. And they never were shot up, as far as I'm concerned. But that's where my brain took it. I got the news in sporadic pieces, and I put them together myself, and the ultimate end goal of me putting it together was I am now paranoid as hell in movie theaters. I can't do movie theaters very well. I still go to them, and I still enjoy my time in them, but they're always in the back of my mind. It's, oh God, someone's gonna fucking kill us, aren't they? Which is just stupid. But I get it. I get it. So I understand where I'm coming from. Obviously, it's my brain. To a more light-hearted one, because this one is very, very fucking genuinely serious things. It does happen. I don't think movie theater shootings happen very much so since this one. Thank God. Oh, but at least I haven't heard of a really bad one. Because what happened afterwards, right? Like how many people did die? It's not saying. I'm sure it does. Yeah, this main article. Here we go. Yeah, they're watching The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, I remember going to that movie. Yep. James Egan Holmes set off tear gas grenades and shot. 12 were killed and 70 were injured. God damn. Like that's just insanity. Like to go to a movie like that, like a very serious action-y, like shit's getting kicked out of a movie. That's just fucking cruel. Like I really hope that this bastard's in prison forever. Conviction, first-degree murder, sentence enhancement of a crime. 1 sentence enhancement of a crime. 12 consecutive life sentences for all of the lives that were killed, with no parole, and an additional 3,000 years, just to add on to it. And the fucker had his hair all Cheeto dusty red. Fuck that guy. Alright, fuck that guy. I'm done talking about him. I apologize if that brought up any bad memories for anybody. But let's go to a more lighthearted one. I cannot drop any food on the ground, or anything really on the ground. Like, just before, you noticed that I dropped this bag, it was a bag of flaming hot Cheetos that I put a bunch of other trash into. That landed on the ground, and I was like, oh dear God, I can't keep that there. I was literally telling myself, hey, I'll leave it there, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. And that was because I am paranoid, not of like bugs or like ants or anything. When it's the summertime, I'm so paranoid of ants. Anytime I drop food, I'm like, ants. But right now, it's less ants and more because of my cats. Because they'll eat anything. And I know what you're saying. You dropped a not even plastic, I don't know what the hell a bag of chips is made of, but you dropped like a foil film bag thing. What is that made of? I've never actually bothered looking that up. What material is a bag of chips made of? It's made of aluminum laminated with poly. Okay, so it's like foil. Okay, so it's like a foil bag, which is even worse for one in particular because my 3 cats have very distinct eating personalities. One is Soup, my favorite boy. Soup, I love him. He'll fucking eat anything. He won't really eat anything. He'll eat like meats. He loves meat. He loves like trying to eat cheese. I haven't given him cheese, but he tries to like gnaw on my cheese whenever I eat cheese. I thought, oh, it's the train going by. Jesus Christ! I heard like a big, like a very faint, but like big. I thought the computer was gonna explode or something. It's just a train outside. See, literally my whole fucking reality stopped. But yeah, so Soup, he'll eat pretty much anything that I drop in terms of food. He just loves when people are eating food. He wants whatever they're eating. It could be any type of food, literally any type of food, especially meat. With Stinky, As long as it's a thing, he will sniff it, and if he deems it worthy, he will attempt to eat it. He doesn't care what it is. Mostly it's food. Like with soup, he'll eat like meats, cheeses, and stuff like that. And he's a little bit on the pickier side. Stinky will be picky initially, but once he decides he wants to eat it, he'll eat anything in the vicinity. It doesn't really matter what it is. Poop, he doesn't really eat anything. He kind of chews and attempts to eat things that aren't food. So like plastics and paper and cardboard, and specifically aluminum foil. Whenever we have aluminum foil out, he climbs onto the counter and he starts rolling on it. He tries to like chew on it, and it's not. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's not good for him. So we hate when he does that, and it's terrifying because if I drop anything on the ground, I'm immediately met with the thought of if there's gonna be a cat who jumps in here and he tries to eat it. Well, no matter what it is, if it's like a pretzel, it's like, oh no, Soup's gonna have seen me eating pretzels, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna eat a pretzel. Or Stinky's gonna smell it, and he's like, ooh, that isn't poop, I'm gonna try to eat that. Or if God forbid, I dropped a pretzel bag, and Poop's like, oh, that looks pretty tasty. Sometimes when Poop comes in here, I have to like move my case of water because he tries to chew on the plastic around the cases, around the bottles of water that's holding them all together. He chews on that, and I have to move it because otherwise he's probably gonna get plastic in his stomach and he's gonna die. I don't know. I don't understand. This one I feel is pretty practical because it's like it's preventing my pets from getting injured from themselves. But still, it's like every time I drop anything, I either have to think of the fact that there could be ants trying to come in and completely destroy my life, or my cat could come in and try to eat it and then destroy their life. Especially with guinea pigs, I feel like with guinea pigs, it's a very big thing. Like, I used to have a lot of guinea pigs. My sister does now, but either way, I don't really have a guinea pig anymore. And every time you drop any sort of food near them, or even not even food, you'd have to, like, fucking go in. You'd have to pick that shit right up, because they don't care. They really, my cats, some of them don't care. They do not care. One time, I had to, like, I was trying to, like, yank out a tiny button, because my sister, like, had a guinea pig on their, I think it was Gabe. They had him on their shirt, and he ripped off like a tiny little button or a bead, and he went to eat it. And they're like, he took a bead off the thing, so I had to like hold him back and like try to pry open his mouth to get the bead out. I couldn't. I think he pooped it out later, but he was fine. That was like very early on. He lasted longer than that, so it's cool. It was fine. Everything was okay. But it was like, holy shit, they'll eat anything. So you could not leave anything. Like one of my guinea pigs in particular, Larry, the crime-fighting duo of Gabe and Larry, whenever we had him out, we would try to like, whenever my cousin was over, we'd have him out when we played games because they loved him. He would like chew on the controller. If we left him on the table with the controller, he chewed on the joystick and he ripped off pieces and ate the fucking joystick. He ate pieces of the joystick, and it's like, what the fuck? It's an Xbox 360 very rubbery joystick that he just fucking nommed on. And it's like, what the hell is he made of? It's insane. So, because of the guinea pigs, and because of my cat's general nature as well, I'm very paranoid about dropping things on the ground. Because, for all I know, they're coming in to have sloppy seconds. And I'm not into that. I don't like that. But, overall, I would say I'm very paranoid. I'm a very paranoid guy. I understand that. I'm okay with that. Honestly, not really. There's a lot. Like, sometimes it's okay, but then there's other times where it's like, well, for the less serious things, it's like, oh, I should care about that. But honestly, it's less care in the paranoid sense. That I don't like, because I'm okay with caring about things. I'm not very okay with I need to overthink the 30 different ways everything can happen. It doesn't happen, it's not every single thing. It's just certain things. It's not even like they're triggered by certain things. It's just random things. Something will go on, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, then this, and this, and this. And then other times it'll be the exact same thing, but it won't trigger that at all. But okay, they're gonna enjoy this gift, or they're not gonna enjoy this gift, and I just kind of live with it. It's weird. And if it's a stressful situation, I feel like that's definitely where it comes out most. Like, obviously, with trying to get my fucking day off that I'm not gonna get, and I don't want to get, honestly, at this point. It just I freak out about it. I don't like fucking with that stuff. So I'm probably not going to go, at least now. But I do have a 3-day span off because I have a dentist appointment after that on the Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday I have off. So maybe I'll go one of those days. Maybe I just won't go for a while. I don't care. I honestly don't care. But with that, everybody, I would like to say this is going to be the end of this episode of Stranded Deep in Conversation. Hope you had a fantastic day. If there's anything you're particularly paranoid about or just a little bit more freaky about, I could talk about like the implications of this and like how it affects my life, but I kind of did. You just kind of it comes and goes. It comes in waves. But if you have anything to talk about, let me know. And that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.